Hi, I'm Dr. Vaughn. I just want to spend a couple minutes talking to you about in home euthanasia and what to expect if you call me to your house for this procedure. If you're watching this video, you may well be contemplating euthanasia for one of your pets. If that's the case, I have deep empathy for you. I've cried like a baby over losing many of my pets in the past. Losing a pet is painful, and the pain is real, it runs deep, it's raw, and it just plain sucks. So when I come to your house for this, I come with an understanding of personal experience with it and with my own pets. And my goal is really to make this as peaceful and a dignified end of life as possible. So let me talk about a couple of things prior to my arrival. One is that I will almost always leave you with something, or I can call into a pharmacy a medication to help sedate your pet a little bit so that they're feeling pretty relaxed when I get to your house. The other thing is if there's any family members or friends that want to come by and say their goodbyes, please try to have that done earlier in the day, or they can be present, for the procedure itself. Once I get there, we will spend some time going over some more details about how this is going to happen and answering any questions that you have. So at that point, I would have you elect any kind of special foods or treats that your pet really is interested in. And this could be anything. It could be steak, chicken, ice cream, um, chocolate, pretty much anything at this point. Uh, and the reason for that is that we're trying to distract your pet a little bit for the next step, which is when I'm going to administer an anesthetic. Um, so if we can cause a little bit of distraction while I do that, that's the whole point of this part of it. Plus, good memories for the pet. Eating something very tasty, being surrounded by the ones that they love as their last memories. Once the anesthetic's administered, it takes 4 to 5 minutes for that usually to kick in. And at that point, your pet will be under a surgical plane of anesthesia, which means that they have no awareness of what's going on. They won't be feeling any pain of any sort. It's important to note that their eyes will stay open during this whole procedure, even at the end of life. We also try to put a pee pad under their back end as the body relaxes. It's very common for urine or poop to be released from their body. After the anesthetic has taken effect, uh, in dogs, I will usually put an IV catheter in their front leg. So I will shave some fur away from the front leg and insert an IV catheter. This part I might need some assistance for. Um, if you are unwilling or unable to do that, please let me know ahead of time so that I can bring some extra help with me. So once we've finished up all of our preparations, at this point we would administer the final drug, which goes straight to the brain and shuts down the brain and subsequently shuts down all other body systems. And the time from administering the anesthetic until end of life is usually between 10 to 15 minutes. The final injection, usually within a minute or two of administering that, end of life will occur. After the end of life has occurred, then the other question is, what are we going to do with the aftercare of the body? And there's really three options for this. One is you can bury the body on your own property. And if that's what you choose, we would talk about that a little bit more. The other option is cremation, and there's two types of cremation. One is communal cremation, where your pet is cremated with other pets. And then there's also an individual cremation, which your pet is cremated individually, and you would get your pet's ashes returned to you, usually in a bamboo box with a engraved nameplate and a paw print. There are some other urns that you can choose from if you desire that. Um, and finally, the other very common question is, well, how much does this cost? And again, that varies depending on a number of factors. Um, One is, what is the aftercare of the body going to be? If you're burying it on your property, then that's going to be the most inexpensive option. Whereas private cremation, escalates the cost, quite a bit. And it also depends on how much your pet weighs, how much drugs we have to use, and also your location where you live. So hopefully that's answered some questions for you about in-home euthanasia. If you have any other questions, please email me at finksburgvet1@hotmail.com. Thank you.